A National Historic Landmark adjacent to the Cuyahoga Valley National Park in Akron, Ohio, StanHywet Hall and Gardens is the former estate of Franklin A. and Gertrude Siberling. In 1898, Mr. Siberling co-founded the GoodYear Tire and Rubber Company along with his brother Charles. He also later founded the Siberling Rubber Company in 1921. Once the location of the home was selected, clearing began in 1911 under the direction of the prestigious landscape architect Warren H. Manning. The family was able to move into the home 4 years later in 1915, and completion of the last of the garden structures occurred in 1917. The estate was constructed and designed for their large family and extensive business, philanthropic, and social circles. Cleveland-born architect Charles S. Schneider designed StanHywet's 65-room manor house, a surviving example of the American country house movement. Fascinated with English architecture, the family extensively researched homes and estates in England for ideas and inspiration. After construction was completed in 1917, the family spent the next 30 years living and entertaining in this spacious home until Gertrude passed away in 1946. Mr. Siberling lived in the home for another 9 years before his death in 1955. The future of the home they created, designed, and loved was now uncertain. And it was at this time that the community became involved to try to help preserve this unique estate. In 1957, the surviving children conditionally leased the entire estate to the newly formed StanHywet Hall and Gardens Foundation, who then became responsible for the preservation and day-to-day upkeep of the entire manor. But the maintenance of the home quickly became an arduous task. Over the course of 20 years, every effort was made to maintain the structure and grounds, but the deterioration of the home was evident. In 1997, architect Mark Gillis was hired to conduct a study on water drainage around the foundation of the manor. Upon completion of this study, he remained on staff and is now Director of Historic Structures. Over the years, he has discovered several unique items on the property of the estate.
One of the things that we discovered is the original specifications called out for a waterproofing system which consisted of about 7 layers of felt and coal tar. Then over the top of that they were going to put 3-inch clay tile. As we started pulling away the clay tile, we found that there, in a good situation, we had 3 layers of felt. The other thing that we discovered is they knew they were going to have to deal with water, so they did design a foundation drain system. The only problem is they didn't complete the system before they started covering it up.
With the details now known, work commenced on an extensive 3-phase project. Phase 1 consisted of foundation stabilization of the north wing, including sealing the foundation and running drain pipes to a new water retention pool. Early in the estate's heyday, this pool had been affectionately referred to by the Siberlings as the Duck Pond. Phase 2, underway during the summer of 2004, handles the south wing, including reconstruction of the south terrace. The main floor of the south wing is the music room. At 82 feet by 36 feet, the music room is the second largest room in the manor house. Only the gymnasium, 1 floor below, is larger. During excavation of the south wing foundation, it was decided upon to restore the 6 metal windows above the ceiling. On the exterior, these windows are sunken almost 4 feet below ground level in a well that, when completed, will be topped by a recreated metal grate. The decision regarding how to move forward was difficult.
Because we're a museum, we go a step higher and we use what's called the New Orleans resolution, which is an even higher grade of preservation.
Belmont Technical College and StanHywet Hall are involved in a cooperative endeavor to restore their windows. All of their windows are steel-framed windows with either lead cane or zinc cane. These became popular about 100 years ago, or started to be, and they have about a 100-year lifespan.
This project in particular is being funded by the GAR Foundation. The GAR Foundation is a local foundation. Not only have they provided very generous support for the overall $8 million restoration project, but specifically, the GAR Foundation is very interested in best practices, they're very interested in partnerships, they're extremely interested in education, And when we sat down with them to talk about this project, they really felt that what we could make out of this was something bigger than just supporting money for restoration. They really took a look at the existing partnership that we had with Belmont Technical College and were quite intrigued by the idea of providing a vehicle to provide education for the larger and broader restoration industry. And so this project with the window restoration is really a piece of that. It was really inspired by the GAR Foundation.
With the decision now made to restore the windows, work then turned to selecting individuals trained for the restoration. On April 30th, 2004, the team from Belmont Tech departed St. Clairsville, Ohio for the trip north to Akron. This wouldn't be the first time that Belmont Tech would be involved in restoration. Back in 1996, the school was involved in extensive restoration at the United States Military Academy in West Point, New York. There, the team reconstructed wooden windows erected in the mid-19th century. At StanHywet, the task would be intricate metal windows installed in the early 20th century. The windows are located above the suspended ceiling in the gymnasium. The tiles were removed and the crew worked to free the windows from their frames. Once free, one by one, the windows were carefully removed and placed outside in the well. Some windows needed additional work to be freed, since all of the windows hadn't been opened in over 60 years. Meanwhile, wooden inserts were measured and cut to size in the wood shop. These covers would seal the opening while restoration took place. The windows were then carefully walked to the van, packed, and readied for the next phase of restoration.